Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and Beautiful 24. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love bold and beautiful, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in.
Escape from Luna's prison. Chaos and multiple revenge targets? According to revelations from the Bold and the Beautiful, Luna Nozawa may attempt to orchestrate a prison escape. Will Luna escape the slammer with multiple retribution targets? Fans of B&B are aware that Luna was furious upon discovering that she would not be receiving a free pass from prison. Luna was apprehended for her most recent offenses at the beach house as a result of Electra Forrester's telephone call to the authorities. Luna may be in a state of urgency to identify a new route out of trouble, as she is currently facing an additional extended period of incarceration. Luna's pregnancy stratagem is not performing as well as she anticipated, and she may determine that she requires a new approach. Katie Logan suggested that she could ultimately assume custody of the baby with Bill Spencer and ensure that Luna's son or daughter never learns about her identity. For the entirety of her existence, Luna encountered inquiries regarding her father, which undoubtedly caused her distress. It must be excruciating for Luna to contemplate the possibility of her child being taken from her, and never knowing that she is their natural mother. Given this, Luna may determine that the sole viable alternative is to flee and get as far away from the Spencers as possible. Luna may be inclined to pursue this alternative strategy if she ultimately acknowledges that Will Spencer is incapable of expressing affection or advocating for her. Luna may be able to secure some assistance by selling her victim act to a naive officer. Sheila Sharp, who has experience emancipating individuals from prison, may also provide Luna with assistance. Regardless, prisons are generally quite simple to escape when the situation necessitates it for a soap opera. If the B&B authors determine that Luna should make a hasty exit, they will implement it in some manner. While it would be prudent for Luna to simply vanish into the darkness, her vindictive impulses may ultimately prevail. It is not difficult to envision Luna pursuing numerous revenge targets as she prepares to depart the city. Luna has the ability to pursue Electra and any other individual she believes has harmed her. Will, Katie, Bill, Lee Finnegan, Poppy Nozawa, and Steffi Forrester, particularly upon her return to the area, may comprise that list. If Luna departs on a vengeful spree, she could potentially target any or all of those characters. Luna escapes from prison. Her revenge plan is explosive. It intended to target numerous enemies. Spoilers and developments for the Bold and the Beautiful tease. Could Luna Nozawa orchestrate a chaotic prison break in order to make her escape while simultaneously targeting multiple adversaries for revenge? Luna's wrath upon learning that she would not receive a get-out-of-jail-free card is well known to B&B fans. Luna's arrest was entirely due to Electra Forrester. Luna has been apprehended for her most recent criminal activities at the beach house as a result of Electra Forrester's call to the authorities. Luna may be experiencing the pressure to devise a new escape plan from her troubles, as she prepares to serve yet another protracted prison sentence. Her pregnancy plan is not progressing as she had intended, which has prompted her to seriously consider an alternative approach. Katie Logan suggested that she could ultimately secure custody of the infant with Bill Spencer, thereby guaranteeing that Luna's child is never informed of her existence. Luna has grappled with her questions regarding her father for the entirety of her life, so this recommendation undoubtedly resonated with her. It is possible that Luna could receive assistance with her jailbreak. Luna must be filled with immense frustration at the prospect of her child being forcibly removed from her, leaving him or her oblivious that she is their mother. Luna may conclude that her sole alternative is to flee and preserve her distance from the Spencers. Luna may be amenable to investigating this alternative path if she accepts that Will Spencer will never adore or defend her. Luna may be able to secure assistance by playing the victim card to a gullible officer. Sheila Sharp, who has a history of successful jailbreaks, may also provide her with assistance. Soap opera prisons are generally quite simple to escape. Prison facilities frequently exhibit an unexpected ease of escape when a soap opera plot necessitates it, regardless of the circumstances. However, soap operas are not precisely reality shows. If the writers of B&B determine that Luna must expedite her departure, they will undoubtedly devise a method to accomplish this. Although it would be prudent for Luna to withdraw into the darkness, her desire for retribution may take precedence. It is not difficult to imagine Luna as she departs the town, pursuing numerous targets for retribution. She may pursue Electra and any other individual whom she believes has wronged her. Luna would have an extensive list of targets for her revenge. One certainty is that Luna would have an extensive retribution list of individuals to target, given the multitude of individuals responsible for her current situation. Will, Katie, Bill, Lee Finnegan, Poppy Nozawa, and Steffi Forrester in particular may be included in the target list upon her return to the city. The air inside the prison cell was heavy, thick with the kind of silence that swallows every sound whole, turning even the faintest breath into an echo that doesn't belong. Luna Nozawa sat on the edge of her thin, uncomfortable cot, her knees pulled up to her chest, fingers clenched tightly around the gray fabric of her jumpsuit as though gripping it hard enough could somehow make the walls disappear. The reality of her situation was no longer something she could ignore. The word escape had been whispering to her for days now, growing louder with each sleepless night, with each reminder that the outside world was moving on without her. She had once believed naively that she could manipulate her circumstances, that she could use her pregnancy to soften hearts, to negotiate her way out of a cell. But that illusion had shattered the moment she overheard Katie Logan coldly suggesting she and Bill Spencer could take the baby and raise it as their own, ensuring the child would never even know who their real mother was. The way Katie said it, so matter-of-fact, so cruelly calm, still made Luna's chest burn. All her life, Luna had wrestled with questions about her own father, questions that ate away at her piece by piece, and the idea of her child growing up in that same darkness felt like a knife twisting in her gut. The thought alone made it hard to breathe. She couldn't let that happen. She wouldn't let that happen. Everything had changed the night Electra Forrester picked up the phone and called the authorities. Luna still replayed that moment over and over in her head, the fury in Electra's voice, the sharp betrayal that cut through her like a blade. It had been Electra's call that set everything in motion, the reason she'd been hauled out of the beach house in handcuffs, the reason she'd spent nights staring up at the cracked ceiling of this cell. Electra's betrayal wasn't something Luna could forget. It lived inside her like a spark waiting to ignite. Every second in prison made that spark hotter, brighter, more dangerous. She was already serving time for her past actions, but what truly terrified her wasn't the sentence. It was the future she was being forced into. A future without her child. A future where everyone she loved had either turned on her or abandoned her completely. A future where her voice would be erased from her child's story before it even began. She refused to accept that. The pregnancy scheme hadn't worked. Luna knew it now, even if part of her still clung to the fantasy that someone somewhere might take pity on her. Will Spencer had proven himself incapable of fighting for her. The warmth she once thought she saw in his eyes had turned to ice. Will wasn't going to save her. He wasn't going to stand up to his father. He wasn't going to defy Katie. If anything, he'd folded faster than she ever imagined he would. The realization had cracked something open inside her, something wild and desperate. If no one was going to save her, she would save herself. Soap opera prisons have a strange way of bending to the will of the plot, and Luna had seen enough in her lifetime to know that when someone was desperate enough, escape wasn't impossible. And she was beyond desperate now. She had spent hours watching every movement of the guards, memorizing their patrol patterns, counting the seconds it took for doors to open and close. She had observed who was lax, who was distracted, who let their gaze linger a little too long on her when they thought no one was looking. She knew she could play the victim if she had to. She could make one of them believe she was weak, lost, in need of protection. She could draw someone in and turn their sympathy into an opportunity. It was manipulative, yes, but the world had shown Luna that kindness rarely saved anyone. Strategy did. Survival did. And if she needed help beyond that, there was always Sheila Carter, or rather Sheila Sharp now. Sheila had once freed herself from worse than this. Luna knew Sheila understood the art of slipping through cracks others didn't even see. She could be dangerous, unpredictable, but if Luna played her cards right, she might also be the key to walking out of this cell and never looking back. The thought of teaming up with Sheila was both terrifying and exhilarating. She wasn't naive. She knew trusting Sheila was like dancing with a match in a room soaked with gasoline. But Luna was already standing in the flames. At this point, danger didn't scare her anymore. It fueled her. She lay awake that night listening to the distant hum of fluorescent lights, her mind building and rebuilding plans with mechanical precision. She imagined herself walking through the gates disguised as someone else, slipping out during a chaotic shift change, or being smuggled out in a laundry truck. Every possibility ran through her head like a scene she could edit until it was perfect. And each time at the end of that vision she didn't just see freedom. She saw faces. Electra, Katie, Bill, Will, Lee Finnegan, Poppy Nozawa, Steffi Forrester. Faces that had played a role in pushing her to this point. Faces she would not forget when the time came. She wasn't planning to disappear quietly into the night. No, Luna's story wasn't going to end with her running. It was going to continue with her returning on her terms, not theirs. Electra would be first. Luna could already see it, as clear as if it were happening now. The look of shock on Electra's face when she realized Luna was no longer behind bars. Electra had thought she'd done the right thing, calling the police. She'd told herself it was justice. But Luna saw it differently. Electra had humiliated her, stripped her of control, and handed her life over to people who never wanted her to have a say in it. For that, there would be no forgiveness. For that, Luna would make her pay. Then there was Katie. Cold, calculating Katie, who had smiled that gentle, polished smile while plotting to raise Luna's child as her own. The very thought of her holding the baby, her baby, made Luna's skin crawl. And Bill, who had let it happen, who had stood there with his arms crossed, silent but complicit. The two of them would feel the full force of her fury. She had once believed they could be her allies, that family in its twisted way might unite them. That hope was dead now, replaced by a burning need for revenge. Lee and Poppy were different. With them the betrayal wasn't as simple as one action. It was a lifetime of wounds. Lee had looked down at Luna for years, judging, blaming, refusing to understand her pain. And Poppy, her own mother, had failed to protect her when it mattered most. The two of them had turned their backs on her when she needed them, and even if part of Luna's heart still ached for the love she never fully got, she couldn't ignore the bitterness curdling inside her. Her revenge on them wouldn't be loud, it would be personal, precise, the kind of reckoning that breaks people slowly. And Steffi. Luna almost laughed at the thought. Steffi wasn't the cause of her incarceration, but Steffi represented everything Luna felt she could never have. Power, respect, a family name that shielded her from the consequences of her actions. Steffi's return to town would be perfect timing. She'd be one more reminder of how easily Luna's life had been torn apart while others walked away unscathed. She didn't need to be directly guilty. She just needed to be there, standing on the other side of Luna's pain. And that would make her a target too. The escape itself would need to be flawless. One wrong move and it would all fall apart, ending not with vengeance but with more years in a cell she already despised. Luna's mind sharpened as she considered the possibilities, creating a distraction, feigning a medical emergency, bribing the right person, manipulating the weakest link. She could fake labor pains. The pregnancy could still work for her if she turned it into an advantage. Transporting inmates for hospital care was always less secure. She'd seen the handcuffs loosen just a little when a woman cried out in pain. She'd seen how chaos could unravel order in seconds. If she could just get to that point, the rest would follow. Sheila could help with the logistics. Sheila always had a way of knowing things no one else did: guard schedules, supply routes, hidden weaknesses in a supposedly solid system. If Luna reached out through the right channels, she was sure Sheila would listen. Sheila liked chaos. She liked being part of something dangerous. She liked the feeling of power that came from being untouchable. And Luna was offering her a front row seat to the kind of storm Sheila thrived on. But beneath all the plotting and anger, there was something softer, something far more dangerous: fear. Not fear of being caught, not even fear of dying, but fear of losing her child. That fear anchored everything Luna did. It was what made her dangerous. A woman with nothing to lose might make reckless choices. But a mother fighting for her child? That was a storm no one wanted to stand in front of. If Katie and Bill thought they could erase her from her baby's life, they were gravely mistaken. She imagined the night of the escape again. The way she would keep her breathing steady as she walked down a dim hallway, every second stretching into forever. The alarm might blare behind her, the shouts might echo off the walls, but she would not look back. She would disappear into the darkness and let the city hold its breath, wondering when she might strike next. Her revenge wouldn't be rushed. It wouldn't be loud at first. It would be careful, methodical. A slow unraveling of every life that had tried to destroy hers. And when she finally stood in front of Electra or Katie or Bill or any of them, it wouldn't be as the broken woman they thought they had buried in a prison cell. It would be as someone reborn in fire. Someone who had nothing left to lose. Someone who had turned her pain into power. She knew the world would paint her as a villain if she escaped. The press would whisper her name like a curse. The people who once pretended to care would shake their heads, saying they always knew she'd do something like this. But Luna didn't care anymore. She'd spent too long trying to be understood, trying to prove she wasn't the monster they thought she was. Maybe it was time to stop fighting the label and become the storm they feared. As she lay back on the cold mattress, eyes wide open, Luna felt something shift deep inside her. It wasn't panic anymore. It wasn't grief. It was resolve. She would escape. She would take back what was hers. And when she did, no one, not Electra, not Katie, not Bill, not Will, not Lee or Poppy or Steffi, would be able to stop what came next. Because revenge wasn't just a plan for Luna Nozawa anymore. It was her only way out.